Hey, this is Mike from GiantSupernova.com, and this is the first in our series of blockchain founder interviews. Today we're interviewing the founders of the Blockchain Development Company, or BCDC for short. They're planning a token sale to launch several dApps in the environment industry, including Recycle2Coin, EcoChain, and FoodTrax, which are all built on the Ethereum platform. And they already have a working prototype for some of them. There is an early investment period starting in July 2017, and the main token sale will start in September 2017 and go for 4 weeks. The token sale is limited to 1 billion BCDC tokens. Their tokens will be tradable on exchanges by November 2017. The listing number for this token sale is 8201, and you can go to giantsupernova.com/8201 for more information. We do these interviews to give blockchain investors the chance to get to know the founders, make it easier to choose which token sales to contribute to, and keep the blockchain ecosystem healthy. If you want a glossary of all the terms that we use in this video, go to giantsupernova.com/learn. If you've got an upcoming token sale and you'd like to be interviewed on this show, go to giantsupernova.com/apply. And finally, if you want to get updated on the latest interviews, go to giantsupernova.com/sub. Today we're interviewing the founders to talk about their vision for their dApps, the timeline, their team's track record, and their plans for the funds. So Donnie, Gordon, and Cronell, thanks for joining us. So why don't we start off by you guys telling us a bit about your project and what problem it solves?
Blockchain Development Company, from our point of view, was set up to solve global environmental problems. And this includes recycling from a single-use container point of view, but also trying to speed up the adoption of renewable energy as well.
So why are you using the blockchain rather than other technologies?
Our Recycle2Coin project enables us to incentivize people to actually recycle the plastic in cans, which they generally either throw in the trash or go into a wider recycling scheme, which sometimes doesn't end up getting recycled. So it enables us to offer a digital reward for recycling. In the terms of our renewable project, it also enables us to have a system in place where people can invest globally alongside bigger investors and get a return on their investment back through the system.
Why have you chosen to go the crypto crowd sale route rather than funding it with traditional models?
It's down to the general attitudes of banks towards funding environmental projects and ecological projects. They just tend not to look at it if there's no profit in it for them. They're just not interested. We could have went to the larger ecological institutions like Greenpeace, etc., but they are very, very kind of resource strapped at the moment. And the finite amount of resources that they do have are aimed at their projects, which is fair enough. So we thought that including a global audience would enable us to get these projects kind of moving faster, and well, it'll benefit everyone in the long run, especially with the kind of the age bracket and the technological information and kind of mindset that the kind of younger people have. They know they know it in out, and well, it'll help solve a problem which will be their problem in the very near future.
Can you tell us a bit about yourselves and what your background is?
My name's Donnie McDonald. My background for the last 10-15 years has been working with private families, private banks, and private client law firms, and I've generally been a service provider to them and a facilitator. So my expertise is in bringing highly trained groups of people together to be able to get projects to start, to scale, and obviously to get to the target that we go for.
Cool. How about you, Gordon?
The elderly gentleman in the team, I'm supposed to be the wise one, which I'm not so sure. But I'm an entrepreneur. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years, and my job primarily is to ensure that I bring the team together to make sure that we're able to deliver what we set out to deliver. My role specifically is about making sure that the commercials work, making sure the processes are in place, that we manage to deliver based on our resources, and make sure that we give a good return for what we deliver to the client. We're asking people to share in the project, and if they share in the project, then they'll share in the reward. And at the end of the day, the planet benefits, which is why we took this project up in the first place.
Can you tell us a bit more about your experience as an entrepreneur?
I started a management consultancy business that I sold way back 2003, sold a management buyout. I had a recruitment business that I built up and sold to a UK PLC 2004. 2006, I had a domestic home care business that I built up and delivered to my major competitor. I started it with £5,000 and sold it for £4 million. I've also built up other businesses like a golf manufacturing business that I had sorted out manufacturing in China, took it to market across the world, got distribution sorted out, and then I sold it to some beautiful American friends who just love golf. I had a business that I bought from the University of Hertfordshire that we sorted out distribution and took it to market. It was a research-based company that had developed a way to measure mental fitness for people that would show them how they could double their mental capacity. Yeah, so it's been quite wide and varied. And to be honest, I'm 54. And when you get to my age, you tend to see where you've made all the mistakes before. So probably if you gather all the team together and add all the mistakes and multiply it by 5, I think that's probably where I've been in the past. So I've got quite a bit of responsibility to make sure that the team are together, working together, focused on what our outcome should be, and to make sure we deliver it on time and with the right level of return.
It's nice to see someone with a bit more experience entering in the blockchain and token sales space, because it's quite rare to be launching a token sale and have any previous business experience. So that's a very positive sign.
Well, I have to say that I think when Donnie contacted me and took me through what he wanted to try and achieve, I think he recognised the problem is that for quite a few, what they do is they generate the interest, they create a real swell, but the bottom line is that when the cash comes in, they actually don't really have a home for it, or they've got no projects lined up to do something with it. They've just kind of to see what happens. So I think we wanted to have an end-to-end process that said, what's it going to take for us to make sure that we impact everything in our way through in a positive fashion and allow us to do this and do it well.
Cool. Krunal, how about you tell us a bit about yourself?
So my name is Krunal Soni, and I've been working with the BCDC as a Chief Technical Officer. I got my degree in Master of Science with Information Technology. I got 12 years of experience in technology. So I did my own startup way back in 2012. A few years back, again, I started another company that is Mind of Technologies. In terms of blockchain technologies, I've been part of the researching and developing the application over blockchain since the inception days of the technology. I work with several big customers like Wells Fargo, Cisco, UNICEF. But my passion was to work with the ambitious startup. And in fact, I work with a couple of startups from scratch to the live version of the products. We are leveraging the blockchain technology to solve the real world problems like saving the ocean and the issues with the energies and all. So that brings to me work with the BCDC.
So how's it been funded up to this point?
It's been bootstrapped. We were offered quite a bit of investment initially because people saw the potential, but with a longer tooth entrepreneurial head, as soon as you start taking investment from external funders and angels, and
you lose control.
No, not just lose control, but everybody wants a piece of the action. So you kind of want to make sure that you keep it as pure as you can. And the best way to do it, and it's actually a really good discipline, is actually to bootstrap it from day one, because it makes you think outside the box. It means you're not lazy. It means that you need to meet every deadline. It means that when you've got suppliers to pay, you end up having to negotiate your way through. It's just much more fun bootstrapping a business than it is to get handed a lump of cash and hope that you do well.
And you guys have a prototype already, so how did you put that together without more funding?
That was down to the good grace and negotiation with Krunal and the team below him as well. No one, I think, to date has been able to come to a token sale without being able to have a live product. And this was something that we had to do to ensure everybody knew our skill set and also our delivery. So we basically made a lot of sacrifices between us, and we are developing this project, which will go live before our token sale in September.
So can you tell us a bit more about the product itself?
The product is called Recycle to Coin. It is a system of recycling using reverse vending machines. Now, these are already used worldwide. They're used in the national deposit schemes of Sweden and Norway and Germany. So the systems have already been kind of tested out. But what we're doing from the kind of the back end, from the blockchain point of view and smart contracts, is we will be using the blockchain development tokens as a reward. And what will happen is we will utilize these reverse vending machines. So when somebody puts a can or a plastic bottle into this machine, it will print out a QR code with a unique serial number. Someone will be able to scan that QR code, which will automatically put a portion of or one of our tokens into a pre-signed up wallet. And then what will happen is they can either exchange that straight away on participating exchanges, or they can save it up for a while. And basically they can use it within our kind of future applications. So that would be recycle to coin. They would be able to use them to actually invest within EcoChain, which is our renewable energy project. And they'll be able to use it in further applications and platforms that would develop further down the line.
How much are you hoping to raise, and do you have a cap on the crowd sale?
We have an early investment period between now and the 25th of September. And in that period, there are 125 million tokens available. Right now, you can get 5,000 BCDC tokens for 1 Ether. And then after that, during the main token sale, there are 250 million tokens available. And they will be, for the first 2 weeks, you will be able to get 2,500 tokens per Ether. And for the last 2 weeks, you'll be able to get 2,000 tokens per Ether. We wanted to try and have not too much of a difference so that there's not that huge scrum for the first day or two, which can kind of cause issues with the Ethereum network in the past.
So how are you planning to use additional funds if you get more than what you're hoping to raise?
From the early investment period and obviously from the token sale, half of the funds will be going towards development. Now, those funds will actually be put in a law company's client account. So that will, from a security point of view, they'll be safe. We won't have access to them as the management team won't have access to them. Those funds will be strictly given to the development team, and those funds will only be released on milestones being met by the development team, and obviously kind of costs being presented and targets met. The other half of the funds would go towards the operations of the company, and that includes purchasing the reverse vending machines and the kind of day-to-day running of the company.
I have to say that we've got a myriad of opportunities that keep coming in terms of just people bringing new projects and quite innovative and exciting projects. So I don't think we'll really run out of places that we can invest and make a difference in.
Yeah, that's a good point, I suppose, yeah, because, I mean, at the end of the day, the applications and platforms that we build, probably at least 80% of them will be aimed at environmental or projects that will have a global impact.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate that you guys are putting the effort into keeping yourselves accountable and keeping the team accountable by having a third party release the funds over a period of time instead of just having the whole giant wad of cash available to you at any time. It's definitely something different than a lot of other companies are doing.
Accountability, and again, having had many banks and many investors over the years give me money for small, medium and large projects, to be honest, until I never settle until they've had their money back and they've had their investment and their return back. There's a lot of chat about some of these new millennial companies that are raising tons of cash through crowdfunding, and I think there is a lack of infrastructure and there is a lack of that worldly wise older dude like me who's seen things crash and burn too quickly. Part of my journey for the last 10, 15 years has been to mentor and coach young entrepreneurs. You've got to remember these investors, it's been hard earned. The tax has been paid. Quite often it's out of savings that they could give to their kids. So it's other people's future that you're playing with. And you need to know that. Business generally is a game that you can have some great fun with, but as soon as somebody takes money out of their pocket and gives it to you, then whether it's a customer or whether it's an investor, you need to take it seriously.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's a huge responsibility.
So it sounds like you guys really appreciate the bootstrapping entrepreneurship approach instead of just spending a giant wad of cash on whatever you feel like spending it on.
Yes.
Because it keeps you focused.
It keeps it real as well. And also, again, what happens is that if you bootstrap it, you tend to see who within the management team is actually in it for all the right reasons, which is quite interesting, because the fact is that, if the things are washed with cash and everybody's doing really well, you wonder whether this is just another job or whether they really believe in the project.
Well said.
So can you tell us a bit more about the stage of the project? What do you have finished? What are you working on next? And what do you need?
We are probably about 6 weeks away from making the Recycle to Coin project live with 2 machines. We have already started building the back end of EcoChain, which I'm sure in a minute Kunal can give you a little bit more information about. But right now we need, from the early investment period and the token sale period, we would need the ability to be able to go out and purchase these machines. Now, the companies that we're working with do have global reach in this, and the machine manufacturers are also involved and really want to get behind this. But obviously, everybody at that end needs to be paid, and they have given us good deals and the cheapest deals they can for the machines. But we need to be able to actually fund and finance these machines and everything else up till then.
Mm-hmm. So what kind of strategic partnerships do you already have in place?
We have a partnership with a company called Reverse Vending Corporation, and they have been involved in reverse vending for the last 25 years or more. They have been supplying machines and technology and programming for them to the Norwegian, the Swedish and the German national deposit schemes, as well as non-deposit schemes for reverse vending all over the world, and that includes America, Europe, Russia, the UK. So we have the ability to flick a switch and roll this out. But what we want to do is start off small, just with a couple of machines and a basic trial in Scotland for proof of concept, just to prove to everybody that it can work. And then as soon as we've proved that, then with the funds behind us, we can actually roll out the machines. But it will be a controlled rollout. Obviously, it won't just be a case of we will flood the market with them. We will keep control of it, and we will keep proving that the model works.
One of our main strategic partnerships is the Scottish Government. They're very keen to ensure that whatever is done within this space is done correctly. They're also very keen to support anything that's involved in true renewables. As you probably know, that Scotland benefits from quite a high proportion of renewable projects. In fact, Scottish Power, which is part of Iberdrola, who are the Spanish power company, Scottish Power have got the biggest number of wind farms in Europe. And obviously their headquarters is in Scotland in terms of Scottish Power Renewables. So we're in good company, but I would certainly say that we've kept the Scottish Government abreast of what we're doing, and they're very, very supportive, and they're very keen to see all of our projects come to fruition. And we've got some, right up to ministerial level, we've got some great contacts.
What's your market potential for the future?
Size is only going to be determined by the appetite of the investor. We talked about what happened if we were oversubscribed. We think this can snowball into something quite special and quite spectacular. It really depends on the appetite of the people. If people really get behind us, we think we can do some great work. In terms of the scope, as far as we're concerned, we think that there's a real opportunity to do whatever we do and roll it out to wherever across the planet. We've got inquiries and connections and people from other European countries and further afield. We've got some connections in Asia who are keen on what we're doing. So we want to set the scene and show people that it can be done properly. It can be done with transparency. We can do it and still give a return on the investment of the people.
So do you have any competitors at the moment?
I think the only other kind of plastic blockchain technology company out there is Plastic Bank by David Katz. They've got the same kind of alignment and kind of ethos as ourselves. But there's no one out there that we know of, and don't get me wrong, there could be, but as far as we know, there's no one out there who has specifically set up a blockchain development company to solve global problems. And I mean, sure, don't get me wrong, we will do blockchain development work for any corporation who wants to try and, whether it's get a grip on their resources or improve upon the spending the resources, if we can help in that way, then sure, we'll do that. But our main focus is actually making a difference globally. That was the whole idea of setting it up. But so as far as we're aware, there's no one specifically designed their company and set it up in this area. And there'll be no one that we know of will have a live kind of project before the token sale.
However, we absolutely welcome any competitor in this space. One, because sometimes it's not easy riding the wave at the very front. So to be honest, it would be great if we could turn our head left or right and there was other people surfing in the same wave. Times it's quite lonely out front. So for us, we welcome. In fact, the truth is we would hope that we would inspire others to do the same and to use the technology to make a difference.
That's very true, because I recently wrote a kind of small story on Medium specifically about that, and how the bigger organisations tend to kind of overlook the smaller organisations. And I did say in it that if we can help anybody along the way, then we'd be happy to. I mean, we'd even be happy to kind of help the likes of Greenpeace or Sky Ocean Rescue, who inspired the Recycle to Coin project. So yeah, if we can help others along the way, we'd be glad to.
Great. So can you guys tell us a bit about the efforts that you've put into making sure that your code is secure? Have you had any audits yet?
We have put our code out to Zeppelin Solutions to be audited, and we are just waiting for them to come back with a proposal. So that's the stage we're at with that just now. But yes, our code will be audited before the actual token sale goes live. We're very, very aware that needs to happen.
Just to add that, because Zeppelin is very known in the Ethereum community, and it is very known for creating the standards for the contracts. So if they are going to audit it, it's going to be the great things for us.
Has there been a running testnet?
We are soon going to launch in the testnet. In the mid of the September, we're going to have the token sell contracts live, as well as Recycle to Coin. And the Recycle to Coin will be funded from the pre-allocation of the funds. We'll start using the application as well with the Recycle to Coin just before the initial token sell.
Which is why we're getting Zeppelin Solutions to audit the code, because obviously no one's done this before, so we need to make sure it goes right and goes right the first time.
So how about legal compliances? First of all, what jurisdiction is the token sale registered?
For the pre-investment period, the company is registered in Scotland. We have AML and KYC regulation follow-ups for that period, both through Ether investments and bank transfers. But when it comes to the main token sale, we have been keeping an eye on global developments, with the American market looking more closely, and with the recent, just in the last day or two, the Singapore market starting to have a better look at initial coin offerings, which we tend to avoid the terminology. We prefer token sale. But when it comes to the main token sale, our foundation and registration will be in Switzerland, which still classes it as not a security. We've looked everywhere else at the moment, and that's the safest investment for everybody to be involved in, and that includes investors.
So are there any other questions I should be asking, or that you feel like the audience should know about you guys?
I don't think the tech investors in the blockchain community have traditionally looked at financial technology and fintech platforms, and that is great. They are going to be needed, especially to the 3 or 4 million unbanked on the planet. But there seems to be just an unbalanced look at the ability to provide projects, platforms and applications which work just now. Because a lot of these platforms and applications have 12 to 18 month development times. We're looking at projects that one will be live before we start, and then other projects and applications which have 6 months in development periods. So we want to basically prove to the world and the blockchain technology community that we can build these, we can build them now. They will be revenue generating, they will have a global impact. It will also speed up adoption of this technology, because if we can prove it and prove it now, then people will start to buy into it a lot earlier. But if we're starting to build the larger platforms, which are going to take 18 months to 2 years, people will lose it. It's not a case of losing interest. An investor is keen and happy to get involved in this arena. But if it's a 2 year wait, genuinely, it's human nature. Everybody's going to start to get nervous, which is why we aim to kind of build these applications and projects on a very, very short time scale and actually prove that they work. And then hopefully from that, other people will start buying into the idea and adoption will be a lot faster.
Can you guys give us a 30-second pitch of why you think people should invest and get involved in BCDC?
Okay, let me start it this way. I am 44 years old with 2 children. Do I want to explain to my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren that we had the best technology ever which will genuinely and actually have a global impact? Do I want to tell them that, do you know what, we missed the opportunity and we're really, really sorry. You can't eat the fish in the ocean because they're filled with plastic. And we're really sorry that the microplastics are flowing about in your blood. That's my driving goal. We have the chance, we have the opportunity. And if people can get behind us, we really can make a difference.
We are very committed as a team. I think we have got good rounded skills. And I think we have certainly got the best interests of our investors and the projects at heart. There's big political change, and I think the Paris Agreement has shown that people will not sit down and just wait and governments making a difference. I think people now are thinking, what can I do? And if they get money sitting in the bank doing not an awful lot, and let's face it, not getting an awful lot of return, then they may as well put it into a project that makes a difference.
Can you give us an idea of the investment structure and when the dates are of the token sale?
The early investment period started on the 21st of July and it runs to the 25th of September. And as I said, during that period, people are able to pick up 5,000 BCDC tokens for the market value of 1 Ether. Now, during that period, they can either just transfer Ether over to our kind of corporate Coinbase kind of account, or they can transfer by cash. And we have a process set up for that, which enables kind of anti-money laundering and know your client regulations. So that's all kind of covered. Our main token sale will start on the 26th of September and will run to the 26th of October. For the first 2 weeks, investors will be able to pick up 2,500 tokens per Ether. Now that's obviously kind of half what they can get just now. And then for the second 2 weeks, it will be 2,000 tokens per Ether. And as I'd said previously, we have spread it among that level so that there isn't the mad dash to get to it. Obviously, advantageously, everybody would like to try and get a hold of the tokens in the early investment period, but there's only half the tokens available that will be during the main token sale. And that first 2 week period of the token sale would be where they would get obviously more compared to the 2,000. But we didn't want the division between the first and second week again being too high. So that means that we hopefully people will know that they have a 4 week period to invest and they're not having that mad rush in there to try and get it. Like quite a lot of, let's be honest, quite a lot of the token sales and ICOs in the past have been set up and designed specifically to get as many people in there in the first couple of days as possible to profit from it. So we literally have almost a 2 month period where people can get really good amounts of tokens per Ether. Yeah, people who have a chance to actually have a think about it and make a real investment rather than, oh my God, I need to get this done quickly, otherwise I'm going to miss out.
So thank you guys for listening to the first Giant Supernova interview series for blockchain founders. Again, you can go to giantsupernova.com/8201 for more information. And this token sale is in the environment industry. There's an early investment period in July 2017, and the main token sale will start on September 2017 and go for 4 weeks. The token sale is limited to 1 billion BCDC tokens, and their tokens will be tradable on exchanges by November 2017.